So Marcus, thanks for sending around the minutes. Arsima and John, I hope you've had the opportunity to look at them. If you need a minute or so to review them, let me know. Otherwise, I will ask you if you have any corrections to the minutes as presented.
I skimmed them. No corrections.
Okay, and I see Arsima saying that she does not have any either. So the minutes as presented and circulated are approved, and we will move to the executive director's report. Marcus.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. My voice might be a little hoarse. I'm getting over an illness, but I feel much better today. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the mediation report. Okay, great. So last report was about 5 weeks ago. And so we are really almost at the very end of our fiscal year for measuring performance. I do anticipate there'll probably be a few more cases coming in to this report by the end of the month. But you can see that there were 2 additional cases that were referred into mediation. And we had 3 cases mediated. Two did not result in a settlement. 1 did result in a settlement. Overall, we have a even split 12 versus 12 agreements versus non-agreements for the whole fiscal year. The 1 case that did settle was primarily based on disability, and it was a dual filed housing case. And so you can see that we have twice as many housing cases settle as well, it says employment, but it's basically employment, public accommodations, state funded services. So 8 housing and 4 non-housing. And going down, that 1 case that was successfully mediated was through our office. And you can see that the Civil Rights Commission has had the lion's share of mediations for this fiscal year, so 15 out of 24 total. The other cases, the 2 that did not result in a settlement, 1 was through HCRC as well, and the other one was through the Mediation Center of the Pacific. And one thing I did notice is I kind of wanted to take stock of the whole year and compare it to last year. And we do have a fairly sizable difference in terms of numbers of cases going through mediation and being referred to mediation. So fewer this year than last year. But what was kind of interesting is in terms of the cases that were referred into the civil rights internal process and mediated, it's roughly the same number through our process and roughly the same settlement rate. So it's the other centers that we had, for some reason, a sizable decrease in the number of cases. And that's something I want to look into and talk to our mediation coordinator about. Nothing jumps out to explain that right now. So I do want to, like I said, look into that. So that's the report. Next time, hopefully I'll have a complete year-end report. Some of the numbers as they are input into our database tend to maybe change a little bit. And so hopefully have a complete accounting for the year for next report. Any comments or questions from anyone? No, okay.
Thank you.
So I'll move on to our, wait a second. Hold on, okay, move on to our caseload report. There we go. Okay. So comparing last month's report to this one, we have Just 2 fewer cases in our total caseload. Not a whole lot of difference in terms of the makeup of our case, the age of them. We have, if you see the changes from last report, I mean, we have closures in almost all the years represented here, an additional number of complaints filed. And going to case aging, pretty similar percentages from last year. The thing that I knew was going to happen and is reflected in the numbers here, just not that dramatic, but in terms of the cases that were in the pending category, so those are cases where we'd already filed the complaint, gotten the complete response, and we're waiting for the assignment to an investigator. So we did assign a fairly large number of cases to investigators for active investigation. So there's a decrease in pending assignment cases, an increase in active investigations. And that's really, I think we've been talking about how there's been an influx of complaints filed. And so to sort of counterbalance that, we want to spend some resources on the investigation side and sort of reshift our focus a little bit, and particularly try to get dispositions for the oldest cases in our caseload. And so I think that's where you see, you probably don't remember, but in terms of cases which were pending from 2018, 2019, et cetera, we've assigned, assigned a number of those for active investigation. And then heading down, this fiscal year will not change until we get the annual report complete. But going to the year to date, and so some of the same themes I've been talking about over the past few months is, you can see there is a sizable increase in the number of pre-complaint PCQs, pre-complaint questionnaires we've received. So at a level, you know, exceeding the past 4 years. So you have to go back to 2018, 2019 to get sort of a comparable, well, that was a very high year, but comparable level of these pre-complaint questionnaires. So I think people just may be coming out of the pandemic or just getting back into filing. You know, subsequently, we have a very large number of intake decisions, as well as it's a good number of complaints filed, but a little low in comparison to the number of intake decisions. Neither good or bad. It's just, that's just how it shakes out. And we are trying to increase the numbers of investigations closed, either through full investigation or settlement, or other means. Okay, so that's the year to date and the report for the month. Anyone have any questions on that?
Any questions for Marcus? I can't see everybody, so
Oh.
folks can just speak up if you have a question.
Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. So, okay, thank you. That's the report. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and hand it over back to Leanne.
Marcus, did you or Heather or Robin want to introduce your intern? I didn't know if, I think you had mentioned someone was going to prior to folks joining. Heather.
I'll do that. So hello, everyone. Heather McVeigh, staff attorney here, and I'm pleased to introduce you, and I'm not sure if she'll be able to turn on her camera, but Emily Fong, who we're very grateful to have as a law clerk for the summer. And Emily's going to be working on some projects, one major project, and then also I'm trying to kind of get her exposed to a lot of different facets of what we do here at the commission, and then just, you know, lawyering in general. So Emily's someone that I met at the law school, had a public interest fair, and she was really excited about civil rights. And so we're really grateful to have her here. So thanks for coming by, Emily.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi. Yes, sorry. I'm in my house with the messy background and everything. So
Thank you, Heather. Thanks, Emily. And then next on our agenda is Robin. Did I get that right? Yep, our chief counsel's report. I think you're
You're
mute.
mute, Robin.
Sorry. I wanted to say we seem to have one other guest. If that person wants to introduce themselves, they can, but are not required to. Sean Masquerade, or if you feel like it, just unmute and say hi. But it's not a requirement for public meetings. You're hearing from the public. Hi. Okay. Hi back. So my report, sorry, I'm looking at another screen because I lost my printout, but I have no decision yet from the ICA on Morning Hill, not a surprise. No new docketed cases, though I hear that there will be one shortly, which doesn't necessarily mean that it will get all the way to you. It could settle. I did want to mention that we're discussing changes to the rules, which we've talked about for years, pretty minor changes, but just to sort of clean them up. And it's gone back and forth. The AG who was helping us has left. So I do have a meeting with a different AG later in the week. Hopefully we can, push them through. The two things that will change primarily are the definition of employment, which versus independent contractor. Right now, we use case law with like 20 different factors. This would follow the definition used in the California cases Dynamex and used also by the Department of Labor. 3 other departments in the Department of Labor have a definition that gets followed, and we're just basically following that. The other thing that, we eliminated things like wet signatures because now we email and we allow email in the rules. And there's an additional definition of final order to clarify the difference between you as the commissioners and the executive director, who also has letterhead that says commission. And this was an issue in the case that legal aid brought. So we wanted to see if we could just clarify it a little bit. So there's that. I can't tell you, I did sign up to make a presentation to the Small Business Regulatory Review Board, which is required. I don't know when we'll have a public hearing on the rules, certainly not before August and maybe September. And I will be responsible for that and try to follow through, but it's been the last few months I've been trying to clean that up, and it's moved about this much. In other news, I wanted to let you know that my Zoom license expires today. We hope that the department will have another one before the July 18th meeting. But if not, we may switch to Teams, at least for one meeting. I'm hoping not, but I won't have a license as of tonight, so I can't yet set the next meeting, even though we may come up with a date. As I mentioned earlier, our meetings are public, so that any backgrounds that you put up, anything that's on your tables or whatnot, is public. So that doesn't affect anybody who's on the screen right now. So just mentioning it. I have nothing else for the Chief Counsel's report.
Okay. Thank you, Robin.
Sure.
Does anyone have questions for Robin? Okay. So we'll move on the agenda, but before I do that, we generally don't have guests, so I'm very happy that we do. And we, it is the public's right to have testimony on any item on the agenda. We limit it to 2 minutes. But if our guest or anybody else does have testimony on an agenda item, I would appreciate entertaining that now. You can just unmute if you do. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I just wanted to provide that opportunity. So we'll move on to the announcement of the next meeting. We have generally tried to set a regular meeting, third Tuesday of the month.
Mhm.
And so unless our folks in attendance today, our commissioners and staff have objection with that, we will set that for the third week of July. Let me make sure I have the right date. the 20th. I was potentially going to be out of state, but I think we should just set the meeting. I think I'll be here. And I actually do have it set on the 20th. Did we decide that the last time?
That was a Tuesday.
Right.
I thought
The
it was the 18th.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so sorry. That's today. No, I
Today's
don't
the 20th. Yeah.
18th. I got it. I was looking at the wrong day. I was looking at today. So 2
Yeah.
o'clock on the 18th.
On July 18th.
Okay, unless anybody has objection to that, we'll set it for,
Leanne, and I don't know why my camera is not working,
okay.
because it's not, it's just weird. I am not gonna be able to be in attendance at that
Okay.
meeting. So as long as you guys can make quorum without me, that's fine. I have a training that got scheduled for that day, and I'm just not gonna be able to jump on.
Okay. I think we have some important things to do in the next couple of months. So I would like us all to participate in the meeting. So would the 25th work for everybody? Which is the following Tuesday.
Mhm.
That would work for me.
Okay,
Shaking her head. Arsima, what's
That's okay with me.
it's okay? Okay.
how about you, John?
Let's see, we're talking about
July 25th. It's a Tuesday.
July 20. Okay, I'm still on June. Let's see.
Me too.
July 25th at 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, let me put, it's good for me.
Okay, let's tentatively set that there, and hopefully that'll be good for William as well.
And I do want to say that maybe I put it in an email, but William was very sorry not to be able to be here, but West Oahu set something without his, well, despite him saying he wasn't available. So he was required to choose, and yeah, it was work related. So he sends his regards.
Yeah, understood. Okay, so
Okay.
July 25th, 2 o'clock, barring William not being able to attend. I think that is what we have set for the next meeting. And then we have announcements. Are there any announcements?
None from us.
Yeah, no announcements.
Okay. All right. Then I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Do I have a second? John, second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Seeing no one opposed, we will go into executive session. Thank you very much, Heather. You folks will be in touch. Yeah, okay. We're just gonna go into executive session. Thanks, Emily. Joan, it's like you're totally black. It's not even, you have a,
Okay, you should all have received an invite to the room. Oh, they're disappearing. Okay.
Okay, here we go.